What's up? Dante here, Barstool Backstage with White Sox Dave and our very special guest, Brandi Cyrus. What's up, girl?
Kind of a lot. It's a Lolla weekend.
I know. You just played last night. First one.
I did.
You just got to be coming off the biggest high ever right now.
Yeah, honestly, it was super sick. I got to play Perry's stage, which is pretty epic. And so during COVID, I actually got to play Lollapalooza, Argentina. It was like right at the tail end of COVID, and a bunch of people had to drop off last minute because of testing positive. And so literally
I got to ask, what is that like?
What do you mean?
Like the lineup is, I always see the lineup. I've never been, obviously.
Yeah.
But it looks, is it as insane as
Argentina?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's more insane.
Really?
Oh, yeah. South American fans are incredible. Like, they party harder than any other fans I've ever seen in my life. It was so sick. And so I got to play that. That was, 3 or 4 years ago. And so this is probably the next, like the biggest show I've played since then, and the energy's just insane.
They're saying it's the biggest crowd ever for Lolla. So if you are, I'm born and raised here, it's a weekend you kind of avoid because the amount of people and, messes up traffic and everything. But I'm seeing those drone shots from yesterday. What's it like playing in front of 100,000 plus people? Like, are there more nerves for like, I don't know if you've ever done like a 200 room cap or something like that. What's the compare contrast there?
It's only scary in the daylight. When you can see everyone's face, you know what I mean? If you are playing a set after dark, it's not as bad, right? You look out there and it's just a sea of people. You don't see faces. But I played a daytime set yesterday, and if you look, you can truly look everybody in the eyes, and that's terrifying.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. So I was gonna ask, was this the biggest show you've played to date? But no, I'm at Lolla Argentina is, which I had no idea, and that was fairly early on in your DJ career, right?
Yeah. I had zero business playing that stage.
But that's awesome. I love how self-aware you are too. But I'd say former DJ, because I don't really play that much anymore. But I used to play, so I speak the language. I respect the hell out of it.
He DJs.
DJ.
What got you into it? I gotta ask.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, back in my early days, I was in a band for a long time. I played guitar and keys in a little pop duo.
Guitar player right here.
See, we have so much in common, guys.
He's learning.
Yeah, I wish I'd learned as a kid, right? It's like anything you learn as a kid, you learn so much easier.
Right.
I didn't pick it up until I was 19 or 20, the guitar. But I started a band with this girl in LA. Her brother played guitar for my sister. And at first it just kind of started as something, fun to do and try to meet people and whatever. And we started playing around LA, little coffee shop stuff, and happened to get an offer from Interscope Records for a record deal. And I was really young, and we were like, we can't say no to this. I barely knew the girl, but we're like, well, we have to do this,
No, hold on. You just skipped over a large portion there. Were you just playing at some Starbucks and
literally, yeah, it was Crave Cafe in Studio City is a place people go play, and we were just there, acoustic guitar, she was on a little piano, and somebody came up to us afterwards and was like, are you guys interested in a record deal? We were like, I guess.
And was it covers or was it original music?
It was her original music. So the girl, her name is Cody Caraco. She's so talented. She had already been songwriting and had songs, and so when we first started playing, it was really she just taught me the 4 or 5 songs that she had been playing and wanted me to play with her, and so that's what we were doing. And then once Interscope came into the picture, we were like, oh, okay, well now we have to start writing more music, and it just kind of happened to me. And like I said, I was really young, and to make a long story short, it was good for a while until it wasn't. And when I got out of it, I was very, very burnt out on the industry of the music industry, right? The business side of it, the drama with the label and the politics of it all. And I wanted nothing to do with it at all. So I started to get into fashion, and I started going to fashion events around LA and was making connections that way. And I started seeing DJs at these LA parties, and I was like, well, if I have to be at these parties and I don't want to talk to people and whatever, I'd rather be doing that and curate the music, not have to network and all that stuff. So I just decided, I was like, I think I'm gonna learn how to DJ. It'll just be good for now until I figure out what I really want to do. Maybe I'll pay the bills for a minute until I figure it out. And and here we are.
Now, were you ever at any point in your life were you the person yelling, "Oh, I could DJ. All you got to do is sit next on an iPod," like I like to bust his balls about?
How much do you fucking hate people saying that?
Well, here's what sucks about people saying that is that's what a lot of people do. Like, we live in a world where press play DJ is very common and it's very accessible, and truly, like, anyone can be a DJ right now, which is frustrating, right, for those of us that aren't press play DJs. But I never really I didn't think of it that way. I think for me, I am not good with technology. I'm not good with computers. I'm not, it's not really my thing. So I was very intimidated by the software aspect of DJing. And I had a buddy that was like a wedding DJ in Nashville, and he helped me. He was like, yeah, here's Serato. This is what you need. This is what you do. And I was just like, okay. And so that part of it was very overwhelming to me. I think the music side of it came natural.
Yeah, I was going to ask who kind of took you under their wing and taught you the ropes. And also, so are you USB stick DJ?
I'm a stick girly these days.
So you made the transition. You were Serato. You started on Serato?
I did. I started on Serato, and I signed with an agent in LA, and like right away he was like, you have to get rid of the laptop, like ditch the laptop immediately. It's real DJs don't use laptops, I think is what he said to me. And I was like, okay. And it was so overwhelming because I did start on Serato. I wasn't playing on CDJs all the time, it was a lot of times it was like boards that are just all in one or whatever. And so
Controller.
I was the controllers, I was so scared to start playing on CDJs, and I didn't, like, at the time I wasn't making great money doing it, right? So I'm like, I'm not gonna go spend $6,000 to have CDJs at home. So I was like, I guess I'm very much like a learn by doing. So I was like, I guess I'm just gonna try it sometime, right? And just learn as I go. And that is truly how I did that.
It's the best way, though.
Yeah.
Seriously, the best way.
Yeah.
And what was the time frame here? How old were you?
That's a good question.
Ask a woman how old.
No, that's
what
okay.
Year,
I was
what
probably
year
like,
was
I was probably like 31.
Okay.
31.
So like 5 years ago or so. Yeah, 5. So like a little pre-pan, like right before the pandemic.
So yes,
I'm sure that put a whole monkey wrench in your plans.
Absolutely.
So 2019, 2018, 19, you're trying to make this transition. 2 years later, the entire world shuts down.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of rise above when a lot of people sunk? A lot of people did.
Well, to be honest with you, I almost did. I think because I hadn't been doing it long, and like I said, when I started it, I was like, oh, this is good for now. I never really thought of it as a long-term thing. But right before COVID, I had a friend of mine who's a country artist. His name is Sam Hunt.
He is so good.
He's
never heard of him.
Downstead without, yeah. He's the hottest guy ever too.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
He's a smoke show.
He's very good looking and very sweet.
Yeah.
And I met him in 2016 in Nashville, and all his friends just became my friends, and we've known each other for a while. And he's kind of seen me, from the beginning of, I just started DJing when we started hanging out so much. And so he wanted to take me on tour. He was like, I'm doing this summer tour. I want you to DJ. I want you to open. It'll be so fun. Have my friends out on the road. And I was so pumped. And then COVID happened and it got canceled.
Yep.
So for me, I was like, I thought that was like almost my big break with DJing, right? To get in front of all those people and kind of build my brand as that. And then for that to just be taken away was really devastating. And then to also without live shows happening as a DJ, it's like, what do you do? And I think I played like one or two, Twitch sets or whatever, like online. And it's just not the same.
No,
like,
it's not.
It's not the same, and it was really frustrating. And I, at the tail end of COVID quarantine, was kind of like, I just don't know if I should keep doing this. Like, maybe I should just try to think of something else. And then after quarantine, things just started coming back so fast. I think people that were in the event space and stuff were just so pumped to be coming back that I started booking shows like left and right. And at the time, like, I didn't really care about the money. I hadn't made anything for a year and a half, and I was just like, yes. And because things just started to come back so quickly, it was almost like the train took off, with me without me even having a chance to decide like if I was on board or not. I just got swept away with it.
So I want to ask you how you categorize your style. I heard you play yesterday. It was awesome. I was very surprised at how broad like the range of music was.
Thank you.
It was all over the place, which
yes.
I personally love, because that's also, I think that's the most fun. Like true open format. Like most people nowadays think it's like, oh, you play hip hop, you're an open format DJ. But no, you were, country, EDM, hip hop, good hip hop too.
Thank you.
Which can tell you kind of have that old school hip hop taste. Is that
showing my age a little bit, I guess. There, yes.
No, but I mean,
don't ask a girl how old she is,
No, it's
Dante.
fine.
No, but I mean, is that stuff you grew up listening to that has carried over into your sets, or is that stuff you had to like learn and pick up on?
No, I would say like everything. I mean, listen, like I grew up listening to everything across the board, right? I obviously listened to a lot of 90s country with my dad, being in that space, but my mom listened to a lot of 80s rock when I was a kid.
Nice.
So I kind of grew up in like that space of like rock and roll, and then I got a little bit older and started listening to top 40. Like my music taste sprawls all across the board. So for me, I think what's fun with DJing is finding how to mix it together, right? And sometimes I think people think that hurts you when you're all over the place. Like sometimes it's like, well, she's all over the place. And I think a lot of times people think, well, someone needs to know what they're expecting out of you. Like if you don't stick to one thing, how are people going to know, what they're coming to see you for? But for me, like, I just want to throw a party. I just want people to have a good time. And I want everyone to be able to come to one of my shows and enjoy it. So being able to find a way to play everything all across the board, to me, is the most fun, because that's what I would want if I was going to a show. Like I listen to all of that, and so throwing it all in one set is the best.
What's your buddiest butt rock song that you'll throw into?
I've got that Bon Jovi.
That's some
that Bon Jovi one.
Yeah.
Hits every time.
Oh yeah, it does.
Hits every time.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Butt rock's making a comeback too.
I know,
like
it
Creed,
really is.
I saw an Instagram post the other day. Creed was touring somewhere. It was like a sold out stadium. And it was just nothing. It was like 98% guys in the front row holding up their lighters, and they're like, "This is the Eras tour for 35-year-old dudes right now."
Truly, that's incredible.
So,
what do you think of the whole? I know they're calling it EDM. What do you think about this whole craze going on right now?
I honestly think it's amazing. I think it's great for country music. I think it's great for electronic music. I think that a lot of times, like music genres, people don't like to let other influences in sometimes, and I think country music is specifically very much that way.
Country especially.
Yes, they don't want, they have a formula, and they're like, well, if you're not country, you're out, and whatnot. And I think that we've seen that a lot, over the past like decade especially. So I think it's very, very cool to see country music fans embracing it and embracing something different. And, not just with electronic music. I think we're finally starting to see a lot of that crossover in country in general, but it's perfect for me because it's truly like it marries the two of my favorite things, right? And back in what was 2020 when I was supposed to go on that Sam Hunt tour, it was crazy. His team thought he was crazy for wanting to take a DJ out on tour, but nowadays there's tons of country artists.
Honestly, when you started that, I'm like, Sam Hunt, that's like kind of random for a DJ to be opening up for Sam Hunt, because you would know his music if you heard it. But after you,
he's like, what I
was joking.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
Yeah. But one thing I will say about Sam, and if you listen to his first album, that Montevallo album, he's always kind of been ahead of the curve. And he's always been a little bit a step over, the center line when it comes to his style and what he's doing, and which is why I think he's had so much success. So
I remember when that debuted, people were like, "Whoa, this is hip hop on country music." He was very, very poppy. Yeah. But now now that's like a style and a genre in itself. But the thing about the EDM stuff that has surprised me the most is how well it works. Like this Kane Brown and Marshmello song is so fucking good.
I know.
And if someone told you 10 years ago, like, hey, one of the biggest EDM producers in the world is going to team up with, country artists soon, and it's actually going to be fire, you'd be like, what are you talking about? This whole genre taking off. I feel like people that are out in front of it, such as yourself, are really going to benefit. And I saw a video I have to ask about of you and another one of our girls, Dasha.
Love her.
She's awesome.
So much.
We met her in Nashville during CMA Fest, and huge fan, even bigger fan after we met her and talked to her. So I saw you guys doing like a B2B set. So are you jumping like right into this country electronic collaboration? What's going on? Are you gonna be a DJ duo?
Well, honestly, I would love that. She's probably down at this point. I love her so much. We met at the CMT Awards in Austin, Dash and I, on the red carpet. And it's fun. My manager, Alicia's sitting here. She had sent me her song, like, a month or two before. And she was like, this is going to explode. Like, you got to listen to this or whatnot. So my mom and I have a podcast, and we had just done the Austin dance for a TikTok or whatnot. And then so I met Dasha, and we just immediately hit it off. Like, she's so cool. She's so down to earth. She's just such a rad chick. And so after that, I found out she lived in Nashville, and we started hanging out. She came over and rode horses with me one day.
Nice.
So that show was at Lainey Wilson's new bar down on Broadway. It was during CMA week, and it was me and Lainey and Dasha, and I think Lainey was doing a signing, and Dasha was just a special guest, and they had me DJ. So Dasha jumped up there because I have a remix of her song Austin that I do, and she jumped up there and she just stayed. We were partying. We were having the best time. We had one too many. Were they Coke and jacket? What was those slushies we were drinking?
The
frozen whiskey slushies at Lainey's bar. Delicious, by the way.
Sounds good.
And dangerous, I'm sure.
Very dangerous. She had a few, and we were just raging up there. And I was trying to teach her how to DJ as we were going. And I was like, it's easy, girl. Like, you got this. And she was cracking me up. So I feel like just with a couple lessons, she could do it absolutely very well.
She's a badass.
She's so talented.
So talented. Her voice reminds me of country Taylor Swift, which I fell in love with. Not this like indie Taylor Swift that she's going right now, but she just has such a good sound. She's so smart, unbelievable performer too. She got on stage at the Barstool Bar with like one guitar and
crushed it.
Yeah. So good. But yeah, I mean, you have so much going on. You mentioned the podcast, which Dave and I were talking about earlier.
I don't know if you're a fan of Barstools per se, but you do actually have fans in the building of your show with your mom.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. That's nice to hear. Dudes? Because I feel like it's a bunch of girls.
It's girls.
It's
girls. See,
right.
I don't feel bad saying that because you know it. 99% of our listeners, it's all dudes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But the girls heard you were coming in, and they were like,
yeah. Did you see them perched up down there like little birdies on a ledge?
Yeah.
But it's called Sorry We're Stoned with your mom. Are you stoned right now?
I'm not. So I don't smoke.
You don't smoke?
It's just my mom. She smokes enough for everybody.
I was going to offer you this joint that I sourced out.
No. But you
I'm
should partake.
It.
Yeah. have at it. My mom is the stoner, and my sister and I laugh about it because
I have so much work to do. I want to so bad, but I have a bar to open tonight.
It's incredible. We'll get secondhand high.
I'll probably get in trouble for that, but it was for a guest, so I'll just blame it on that.
Wait, so how does the title work into the pod?
Yeah, so my mom and I had talked about doing a podcast for a couple years, and we started it during COVID when we both actually had time to start something, and we were just trying to think of names. I can't remember who came up with it, but my mom, she's just the biggest stoner. And she can outsmoke anyone. Like, she was going toe to toe with Wiz Khalifa. He was
no way.
I swear, it was insane. And we laugh about it. And my mom is funny because she, like, when she's not stoned, she's a pretty like quiet, reserved person. You just got it together and just very like chill. But she smokes, and she just is a whole new person. Like, she's loud and funny and loses her filter, and she's just so funny. And I was like, I want people to see that. Like, I think if you smoke and then podcast, like, it's going to be so good and you're going to be so funny. And so somebody came up with that title, and it was like, well, if Brandi doesn't smoke, can we still call it Sorry We're Stoned? And I was like, I think we have to, because sorry I'm stoned, sorry she's stoned, it doesn't sound the same. So I was like, we'll just say we're stoned, and to be honest with you, she hotboxes the shit out of me when we podcast. We do it in this tiny little room, smaller than this sometimes, and I get so high just sitting in there with her. When we had Wiz on, my brain was
just
shot.
On Mars.
Yeah.
How is Wiz in person?
He's incredible.
What was his reaction when a woman 30 years his older or whatever is just smoking him under the table?
I think he was impressed. I definitely think he's partied with my sister a little bit back in her day, in her party days, and so I think he at first was like, okay, well, she parties and she can handle her own with smoking, so like maybe Tish can. But I do think he was really impressed with her. really impressed. Most people are.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's high praise.
And I'm sure, yeah, she doesn't, it's not like she, like, obviously there's the pothead look, and she is not that. So
No,
when
she's
all of a
not.
sudden she's like a Cheech and Chong size doobie in her hand.
Who's your
incredible.
favorite guest you've had on so far?
Oh my gosh. Maybe Dasha. It was probably the most fun episode. You know, I just felt like kicking it. And we didn't know
yeah.
each other well then, but it would just really just felt like kicking it with friends.
Dude, she's fun. She's fun as fuck, man. We were bar hopping that night, and we were down the street at I think Aldean's bar, and we're walking back to the Barstool bar, and she's just walking down Broadway in a sea of people, and my co-host Colin's like, "Dude, I think that's Dasha," and I was like, "There's no way she's out here walking."
Oh, she's out there.
We were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" She was like, "Where are you guys going? We don't know where to go." So we went back to Barstool Bar, walked in, started just ripping shots, hung out. Like, I was like blown away. I was like, she's actually just like bar hopping in Nashville,
Just,
like a regular
The
person.
I love, do your guests smoke when they come on? Is that like part of it?
We don't like obviously
Yeah.
we don't require
Yeah,
it.
force them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
for
don't
sure.
only book people that smoke weed.
Definitely,
Like, it's
definitely,
kind of
definitely,
just
definitely.
the icing on the cake, right? If you want to
Definitely.
come on and smoke weed with Tish, it'll be hilarious and it's great. But if you don't want to, it's cool too. We've had like one or two maybe that people that are like sober or used to smoke and gave it up, and so like respectfully, we don't.
Of course,
my
yeah.
mom will go outside, smoke a little bit, come in. But yeah, I think for me too, like the idea of sorry we're stoned for me personally, since I don't smoke weed, like I almost think of stoned as like just like a mindset, right? Like high on life, like
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know. Like to me, there's that aspect of it too. So I think when people come on and don't smoke weed or don't want to talk about weed, like we still have a great time.
Yeah, you're not talking about how to grow marijuana.
No,
It's just
exactly.
conversation. But like in doing this, we interviewed Ice Cube. A lot of very famous people is what I'm getting at. But like sometimes my favorite conversations, like Portnoy's dad, like our boss's dad, who's just some like normal guy from like the funny. Or we interviewed this mailman, just a random mailman. From the suburbs of Chicago, who comes in and he's like a cartoon character. Like those are my favorite
That's
guests.
incredible.
You know,
Yeah.
the A-listers, they get a little too buttoned up sometimes.
They do sometimes. Yeah, it's interesting too to see, you know, some people really surprise you and whatnot.
And that's always the good side, yeah.
Yeah, but you just really never know, right? Especially like with the pop star. We had Ava Max on, and I mean, she's a pop star. She's a big pop star, and so like you just never know. She was dope as hell. She was so chill. We were talking about hiking in Malibu, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm a homebody. I just like to be at home." And I was like, "Girl, you are my people." And so it's nice when people surprise you.
Yeah, we had Corey Taylor on, do you know, lead singer of Slipknot?
Yep.
And I had no idea what I was getting into. Obviously, you see Slipknot, these masks, this music, and I enjoy that music, but you don't. And he's talking about how he listens to Meghan Trainor on his kids on the way to school, and he's like getting into it while he's telling the story, like fist bumping to Meghan Trainor. I'm like, that's the lead singer of Slipknot right there on a human level. So
Totally.
I always appreciate that kind of stuff.
What's one of your guilty pleasures, music wise?
Actually, I want a human, like a life wise.
A life? What do you mean?
Yeah, just
Guilty pleasure in life?
yeah.
Oh God.
Something like, I don't know, some mildly embarrassing, but we can all laugh at.
I feel like we should ask the peanut gallery over here. What do I do that's embarrassing?
Not necessarily embarrassing, just like a quirk, you know?
I mean, I talk to myself a lot.
Yeah?
It's really bad. I've lived on my own now for just way too long. Yeah, I know. I think that's my excuse is like I've got 3 dogs in the house, so if I'm talking to myself, I'm like, it's fine. I'm talking to
Oh yeah, you're talking to your dog.
I'm talking to the dogs. But I catch myself sometimes out in public. Like if I'm like walking around, I was trying to find Sweet Green the other day and I'm just like cussing to myself. I'm like trying to find this freaking restaurant. Times like that,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm insane.
I'm going crazy, yeah.
People think I'm crazy.
That's totally normal. I was wondering, music wise, do you have anybody that you're like, I don't care if people think they're corny, I love them?
I don't know. I think probably the only guilty pleasure music thing I would probably every now and then, especially like if it's a road trip. Okay, if I'm like 7 hours into a road trip and I'm out of music to play, I'll put on like a 2000s, like 90s 2000s, like pop, like Backstreet Boys,
Oh, yeah.
NSYNC, O-Town, like all that. I'll put that playlist on real quick, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
probably embarrassing.
Forget how good.
I don't think
you
so.
forget
We're
how
all in the
good that
same
stuff
age
was.
group. That's our music, you know?
Yeah.
I guess
That
it's
stuff
embarrassing
was.
to like the actual eras of music that were incredible. Like we're gifted musicians, not like
Dude, that music is good.
it's good music, but it's so different than like Led Zeppelin, that's a symphony right there. That I don't know. It's two different things.
Apples and oranges.
I can see why the generation before us would look down on that music, kind of like I sort of do.
Kind of exactly right. We all do it. We're like, music was better in my day.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm doing it like as we speak, like that. What's her face doing at Lala yesterday? I'm like,
Are you making any music yourself? Are you getting into the production side of things?
So I'm kind of just starting to dabble in that. Obviously, when I was in the band, I did a lot. I did a lot of that. We spent a year and a half making a record.
No way.
That never got released.
Oh.
Thank you, Interscope Records. So that, I think for me, that was really hard, right? To pour my heart and soul and so much time into something that never saw the light of day. I was just we talk about this a lot. I just have a lot of trauma about the studio, right? And things like that. So for a long time, I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit in a studio. I don't like being in a dark room. I don't like to stay up late. No, it's not for me. But I'm at a point now where I feel like I've had enough of a break, and I do think that is the next step I need to take if I want to continue DJing, right? So this year, I've just started with some remixes before I get into anything original, and because I want to dive into this EDM thing, I picked a few female artists that I really look up to, a couple of them that I'm friends with, like Dasha, and remixed a few of those songs. The first one's going to come out next week. Next Friday, August 9th, and it's the one with Lainey Wilson. It's her song
heard
Wildflowers and Wild Horses,
which is such a banger.
It is.
I mean, that song, is it going to be up tempo? Did you bring the tempo up? Or?
Yeah, we kicked it up a little bit.
Awesome.
And it definitely feels a little bit dancey. I love her. I love everything she's about. I obviously I feel a lot of similarities with her. She's a horse girl, lives in Nashville, grew up on a farm. I get that, right? And so to me, this just seemed like the perfect first song to put out and pair my name with, right? So I'm really excited about that. Comes out next week. We're doing a little party in LA for it. And just for funsies, I remixed a Kelsey Ballerini track that I really like. I love Kelsey. I've known her for a long time. And I, to this day, when I listen to Penthouse, her Rolling Up the Welcome Mat EP, I am just so proud of her. I'm so proud of her because that took balls to put that album out, that EP out, and she did it, and it changed her entire career and the whole trajectory of what she's doing, and I think it's badass. So Penthouse was my favorite song on that record, so I made a remix of that, and it's fun to play that one out, and the Kelsey stans lose their minds, which is so fun. And the way I did it, I made sure, if you're a Kelsey stan, which I don't know if you guys are, but she did a live version of Penthouse where she changed the lyrics to the B section of the song, and the fangirlies just know.
Did not know
so
that.
Even though I used the main track for the remix, I just pulled that piece of the B section from the live album because I wanted the changed lyrics because that's the gold. So that one was fun to do.
That, I was going to say, you have such a cheat code that you know all these awesome artists and can be like, hey, let me get the stems for Wildflowers Ride Horses. But no, that's awesome that you actually know that's very important, and I'm sure, like you said, it plays very well to her fans. Her fans probably go crazy playing
for sure.
Yeah,
playing a B-side like that. What else are you working on? What do you have in the next, I guess, rest of this year, upcoming next year?
It's been such a whirlwind. I feel like I'm continually just trying to keep up with myself. All summer, I've gotten to play so many cool festivals this year. Hangout was a huge highlight. It was the first time I'd ever been to Hangout Festival. Have you guys been to that one?
That looks like
it's incredible.
It looks like the best on secret going
it
right now.
It really is. And I all my friends in Nashville, it's so close, but everyone goes every summer.
It's one in Alabama, right?
Yeah, it's Alabama. And so I've always heard my friends be like, oh, Hangout Fest. And so finally I got to go and I got to play, and it was so sick. It was, for being such a large festival, it felt very intimate in a cool way too, very casual and laid back. Everyone's in pools and hot tubs just kicking it. It was so fun. So I did that. I did EDC. I did Electric Forest. I've just hit some really, really cool festivals this summer, which are, I think this is the last one.
Also, you played Diplo stage at
oh my gosh, that was
right?
so sick. Yes.
Yeah, what was that like?
Amazing. I mean, I've been going to Stagecoach now for a while, right? And Diplo, I mean, it's good to bring him up because he really was on the forefront of this whole EDM thing, right? He's been remixing country and dabbling in that for a long time, and it's really cool that he's been a champion for that, because I do feel like it's really helped open up people's minds about the country EDM space. But yeah, that stage, it's funny. For like a year and a half, I was like putting it in people's ears, like, I want to play the honky tonk. I want to play the honky tonk. I want to play the honky tonk. And the response I would always get was, well, everyone wants to play the honky tonk. And I'm like, I get it, but I should play the honky tonk. You should have me play the honky tonk. And we really didn't know I was getting that spot until like really last minute they decided to book all that. And so I was so excited. It was definitely like a top bucket list thing I really wanted to do this year. So hopefully Diplo has me back, because it was sickening. That whole weekend, like the tent was so full that the fire marshals were just losing their shit, like emptying out the tent, you know, several times throughout the day, and then it would fill back up. But it was crazy, but in the best way. It just brought the best energy.
No, I mean, that's amazing, because I'm sure they hoped it was going to do well, but I'm sure they had no idea it was going to
There's no way.
go off like that.
They couldn't have. And very last minute, like day before, we were like, oh, Chainsmokers want to jump on and play before you. It's like people want to be here, you know, and it's really cool when somebody like the Chainsmokers, who do not do any country music really whatsoever, are like, hey, we want to be part of this. Like, it's really, really cool for country music.
That's really awesome. So heavy tour life.
Yeah, so I didn't really answer your question.
No, you did.
Well, I have the residency at the Wynn in Las Vegas,
which is fucking insane.
Crazy.
Like, you're like, that is so, like, congratulations.
Thank you. That was another thing that I just kept like trying to manifest, right? Is you know, for me, everyone's always like, well, what's like the mecca of DJing? Like, what is and I'm like, Vegas. A Vegas residency in the United States.
Not just Vegas, but Excess.
I know.
That is like...
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I truly, every time I walk into Excess nightclub to play, I just walk in and I'm just like, oh, thank you to whoever put me here. Like, it is just, I'm just so grateful.
Well, you put you here.
I love that you're grateful and appreciate stuff.
But
like
it seems like, at least to me, based on this conversation, that you were really, really calculated in it all.
Yes and no. You know,
and it didn't just fall into place by fate, or not necessarily
Definitely
fate,
not, but I do feel like very much in life, like I'm just along for the ride, right? Like, I've never been somebody that, I hate when people ask, like, well, what are your 5-year goals? What's your 10-year goal? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm along for the ride. Like, I don't know.
We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah, and so I do feel like in a way that has kind of been my attitude about everything, right? But also, I take what I do very seriously. So it's like, even though I'm along for the ride, I do want to be strategic. I do want to continue to progress. I do want to continue to grow, and that's very important to me. So I think what like blending those two mindsets has, I guess, gotten me where I'm at. But the Win has been incredible, and that will continue through the end of the year. So I'm so excited about that.
And then DJ doesn't exist. You're what's the next hobby? What's next in line? You said you got horses.
I do, yeah.
Dante and I kind of got horses too.
Oh yeah?
We own
race horses.
Yeah,
okay.
Parts of a few race horses.
I like that.
Which I don't know how to. I like tiptoe around that. My sister is a big equestrian.
Oh, she is.
But she hates
see.
horse racing.
I see. Do you know what discipline she rides by chance?
English.
Okay, show jumping probably.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I do too.
So yeah, like the fact that I love horse racing, she like
our horses are treated like royalty.
I know, but
so here's what I would say to her, and because I kind of grew up with that same mentality about horse racing, and I'll tell you what I don't love about horse racing is when you watch it, it does seem like their whip is just used way too much, which I don't love, but people do this to me, right? It's like really easy for someone to go on my Instagram and say, that poor horse, that you're abusing it. Why are you forcing it to jump sticks? Like, it's easy for someone to say that. They have no idea that my horses get chiropractic every week, massage therapy every week. They get hyperbaric chamber. They get PEMF. They get so much shit.
Acupuncture, I'm sure.
These horses are being treated the same way as the NFL players, and you know what I mean.
Hyperbaric chambers.
No, she gets it all. She gets it all.
How big is this?
That's what I'm telling you. Our horses do too.
I'm sure,
but like
exactly.
when they're using the whip, they're hardly touching them. It's a directional thing, you know?
Yeah.
And a speed thing, obviously.
It is, yeah. And I do imagine, I haven't literally looked into it, but like in the rules for what your sister and I do, I was telling them this, if you hit a horse more than twice consecutively with a whip, they will ban you. They will axe you from the sport for like a year. You'll get very penalized for that. So I'm not sure if they have the same rules in horse racing.
No, they don't. You can.
If they don't, I would like them to implement better rules for that. But that's really my only thing with the horse racing.
How often do you get to ride?
When I'm home, I ride every day, and
Nice.
so these few weeks are I'm gone more than usual, but typically I'm home like Monday through Thursday. You know what I mean? And I can ride, and then I'm gone on the weekends to work. It's actually like pretty good.
Yeah.
That, I mean, aside from a hobby, is that relaxing, therapeutic? I mean,
Extremely. Yeah.
so how much do you miss it when you're on the road touring and
lot.
not able to?
Yeah, a lot. I think for me, like it is relaxing and everything. It's a good way for me to just be able to check out, right? Like you leave your phone and for an hour or however long you're on your horse, like it's just you and the horse, and you're not really able to think about anything else, because if you do start thinking about something else and the horse gets away from you, like you get hurt, you get like, you know what I mean? You kind of have to focus on what you're doing, and I really like that about it. It helps me like take a step away from everything, you know, for an hour a day when I'm home, and I think that's what probably keeps me like the most grounded, is just having that moment in my day where it's just the only priority and everything else gets put aside for a sec.
I love that. What I mean, you got the Bulls jersey on.
Yeah.
What do you think about Chicago? And you don't have to tell us that it's all rosy and rainbows.
Dante actually wants you to not say.
No, I don't. No. I feel bad
Political
I feel
argument
bad posing that question, because people are like, oh, I have to
so
like
great.
talk nice about it.
Well, the weather's shit, I'll tell you that, but it is in Nashville too, so I can relate.
Nashville is always just a little worse than we are.
Yeah, the weather's awful.
Horrible in the summer, and I love heat. I'll never bitch about heat.
Oh,
well, I have to deal with winter. You guys don't in Nashville.
Well, we get some winter.
Oh,
I mean, not like you.
Yeah,
We get some
an actual winter where it's negative
Yeah.
20 wind chills.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. So I like, you can do stuff in heat. You can't do stuff in crippling cold, you know. So I try not to, but Nashville, that's hot.
It's
not like Arizona hot. It's
no.
heavy hot air.
What do you like to do when you come here, though?
Favorite restaurant?
Oh God, see, I haven't been here enough to know that necessarily.
Talking to the right people right here.
I know, you guys need to give me recs. Here's what I do know about Chicago. And then this is, not a new concept. I get it. This is what Chicago is. But I like that it's a big city, but with like a small town feel to it, right? Like everyone's so nice and it's so laid back, but like also everyone's, walking at an appropriate pace and like up on their fitness, and like you get like those city vibes, right? But it's also
we got a lot of fat people here.
I've seen a lot of runners since I've been here. People be running around in this heat like it ain't no thing. Like y'all are crazy, but it's good. And the nightlife is great here. Like there's a lot of places to go. A lot of people are out and about, especially in the summer, which is really cool. There's not many places that I feel like I enjoy going out at night and like being part of the nightlife, but I do here. Well,
I can take that.
Good answer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got a show tonight.
2.
Dome Day?
Oh yeah. You got
not that this will air in time, but
no. Where are you playing first?
Well, I'm playing at the festival at 7:45 on the Tito's stage, and then tonight I'm playing at I think it's a new bar. It's called The Farm. Welcome to the Farm.
I own it.
You do?
Yeah.
So what's it
Did
called?
I know that?
It worked out.
What's it called?
Yeah. What is the name of it?
The Farm.
It's The Farm. It's not Welcome to the Farm.
Well, it's both.
We've
Welcome to
argued
the Farm.
about this for days.
It's Welcome to the Farm.
See?
But people call it The Farm. Yeah.
But it is.
I honestly
but it is
thought it was
called
just The
Welcome
Farm.
to the Farm.
Yeah.
See.
So
He said it when I asked. He said it's the farm.
So my partner's Jimmy Butler is an investor, but my partner's Chase Rice.
Yeah, I know Chase.
You do?
I do.
We had fun.
We had a fun night in Austin at CMT Awards with Chase.
Yo, he is a sicko. Partying. No, that's
Yeah,
great. We'll have
he
to
parties.
FaceTime him later.
Yeah. No. So that's my show. So you need that.
Yeah, we're pumped. It's gonna be a great night.
It looks super cool.
Yeah, we opened a few weeks ago and then we
Okay.
closed down to renovate. So tonight's like technically
You opened and then renovated?
we had to rush to get open because he was here for CMA Fest.
Okay.
So it wasn't like ready to be open.
I see.
But now it is.
Now it's
And
open.
you're gonna love it.
Amazing. I can't wait.
But yeah, you're basically the grand opening performer.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're pumped.
My first chance to really play some country music this weekend. I've dabbled. I've played a couple here and there, but like it'll be nice to get to play.
We'll go deep.
We'll go deep.
No, I love
Play
it.
some good country.
I love it. Do you ever get yesterday, were you nervous?
So nervous. Yesterday I was so nervous. I know. I'm telling you, it's the daylight.
beginning
The daylight gets me.
beginning till end, or did you settle down
No, I
after
settled in.
a few songs?
Yeah, I usually settle in like 4 or 5 songs in. But a lot of times, like, my biggest thing is, like, more times than not, I get up there onto a stage and can't hear, like, for the first couple minutes. I'm like, I can't hear. You know, I don't know what it is. Like, I have to have time to adjust.
I was gonna ask you, are you wearing inner ears, or you
I
just
wear
have monitors
headphones.
cranking?
Yeah, I crank the monitor. It's not good. It's not good. Every time I play a club, I leave and my ears just ring for days. I gotta figure it out.
That's the worst.
I know, I gotta figure that out. But there is nothing worse than getting up there and feeling like you can't hear.
Oh yeah.
And it can't mix, you know. And I always, like, especially on big stages like that, so it takes me a couple minutes to settle in and be able to hear correctly. And then once I get over that hump, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I can hear now. Like, now we're rocking.
Love it. Did you check out anybody else after you played?
We didn't have time yesterday, but today hopefully we're gonna go a little early and hopefully get to see somebody. Ray. Oh yeah, she was playing right before me, right? Ray. Yeah.
Nice.
That'd be cool. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I'm devastated. Megan Maroney's playing at exactly the same time as me.
She's so good. She's
love her.
so good. She's been on the show a few times. She's just great.
She's so
Sweetheart
talented,
too. Oh yeah.
Her voice is amazing.
Her songwriting is insane.
I know.
Who is a dream collab for you?
Oh jeez.
I like that you mentioned you manifest things.
I do manifest things.
I am 110%
I do manifest
buy into that.
things.
Who's someone that you would love to work with in the future?
In the DJ space, I
Music,
really love
production, collab.
Yeah, in the DJ space, if I was gonna get to work with another DJ, I really love Medusa and I really love Swedish House Mafia. So one of those would be super sickening. And as far as, like, if I was gonna collab with an artist, I mean, my sister, if I could talk her into that, would be super cool.
That's
Not
great.
really.
What's that?
What is that
She's
like
in
a
semi-retirement
sisterly-
right now. You
Yeah.
You
know?
know, I actually opened for your sister at the United Center.
You did? No way.
I have a good.
What year was that?
I have a good story. 2017, 2016.
Was it the Banger
2017?
Store?
Yeah.
That was a good tour.
So she came. I used to play at this place called Underground. This really popular.
Here in Chicago?
Yeah.
Wait, I've been there. I played there.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I played there. It was a Lala thing.
Yeah, a few years ago, right?
That was the year Miley played the festival.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God, I got so fucked up that night.
Yeah, that place is fun. It goes till 4 in the
I
morning.
know. I know.
It, like, never closes.
That was one of the drunkest times I've ever been in my whole life. Was at Underground.
That place will do that to
Yeah,
you.
that was fun though.
But she was in town. She came by there. I was DJing.
Okay.
She loved. I played like nothing but like hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
like gutter hip hop.
I bet
She had the best time.
Yeah.
And I linked with her team, and they were like, "We're coming by here to do a show in a couple months. Do you want to open up?" And I was like, "For what?" And they were like,
The show.
That was the most scared I've ever been.
Were you scared?
18,000 people.
Yeah.
And it was just like you said. It was like when the lights
Oh,
were
when
on.
the lights are on.
Because they don't cut the lights until the main act.
I know.
And it was like,
Yeah.
You guys perform in front of. This is me trying to like figure out a way to empathize with this. Like, I don't publicly speak, obviously. This is a weird form of it, but there's not an audience that's in front of you. I got talked into doing stand-up last week for the first time in my life, and
boy.
I've never done anything close to that.
That
would
sounds
never.
terrible.
I've never given like a speech in front of a company. Like, I haven't done a speech since high school, really. And it was I'm thinking to myself all week long, like, I talk every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to shit my pants. Like, right on the
Plan
middle
the whole
of the
thing
stage.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I only had to do 5 minutes.
Well.
And that goes.
He's over here like, I do a whole stand-up
No,
show.
I mean, still though,
Yeah, I
that
know.
like that 5 minutes seems like it took
An
5
eternity.
hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Well, did you kill it or what?
they said I didn't not kill it.
Okay.
So that's all I was worried about was
Yeah.
I said not getting clipped like you did at Twitch. I'm like, clip it. And like, I was worried about getting clipped.
do you plan your sets out?
No, I don't. It depends on the show, kind of how prepared I try to be. For something like Lollapalooza, I probably should have been more prepared than I was, to be completely honest with you. But I find that the times I've planned the set or tried to plan it out, I'm always like straying, right? And so I get to a point where I like to be organized. I like to have my folders organized of like, well, you know, if I want to play this type of music or this style of music, or, you know, if I did like this show or that show, I can kind of flip flop depending on how I'm feeling. But it's harder the shorter of a set you play. Right. So when you only get 45 minutes, it's really hard to make sure you're getting in everything you want to get in. So it does take a little more planning.
It's literally going to be my next question. How many times are you like, fuck, I wish I played that song, or I forgot to play that?
Yeah, a bunch. Right. And so that's where when I don't prep and do the work, like sometimes I kick myself. But also lately I've been bad about prepping and planning. And
I mean, you're busy.
I know. I've been bad. Listen, I prioritize sleep over everything. So if it's a matter of like an hour prepping or an extra hour of sleep, I will sleep. And when I'm home, you know, it's like, well, I've got an hour, but I want to go to the barn, you know, and see the horses. And so sometimes you know, my priorities get a little skewed. However, the last few times that I have not prepped one single bit and gone in completely blind, my manager always says they're her favorite shows. So maybe there's something to it.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, you killed that. I'm like, really? Because I had no clue what I was doing when I got up there. Like last night I got on stage and I looked at Hadley and I was like, I don't know what to play. And he was like, just play party music. I'm like, I just like, and like, it's fine. It all worked out.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, I know you got to get out of here. Thank you for staying so long. This was an awesome interview.
Super fun.
A lot of
You're
fun.
awesome.
Great meeting you.
Yeah, you too.
Crush it tonight at both
Thanks.
places.
Yeah. Will we see both later?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
100%.
great.
I'm
Awesome.
heading there at like 5 p.m. or so. Can you pass that down? I stole that from your manager to light a joint.
Ooh.
Wasn't